I mean, this guy, I think, should be in the contention to be player of the season because what he does for Arsenal every single time, and it's very difficult to see what a goalkeeper does sometimes because he cannot make you win the game, right? Surely he cannot make you, he can hope that you're not losing it by making saves, but he does that like 2 to 3 times every single games. It's just outstanding.
David Raya became exactly what Europe was afraid of, and honestly, it was only a matter of time. Because when you look at this Arsenal side, you can talk about Arteta, you can talk about the defence, you can talk about Declan Rice, Saliba, Gabriel, all of that. But if you really want to understand why this team feels so dangerous in Europe now, you have to start with the man in goal. David Raya is no longer just a reliable keeper, he's become a difference maker, the kind of goalkeeper that wins you titles. The kind of goalkeeper that gets you through knockout nights.
Played in, is it?
The kind of goalkeeper that changes the emotional temperature of a match with one save. And the numbers are absolutely ridiculous. This season, the Spain international has kept 22 clean sheets in 41 appearances across all competitions.
If anyone was questioning him when he signed from Brentford, man, listen, the one he saved on from Cunha at a tight angle, whether it was going in or not, I'm not sure, but still got his hand to it. Really calm, authoritative figure.
That is not normal. In fact, Raya has kept more clean sheets than any goalkeeper in Europe's top 5 leagues, sitting 4 clear of names like Jan Sommer. That alone should already tell you the level we are talking about here. But the scary bit is, it's not just about clean sheets, because David Raya is capable of producing impossible saves.
Played in, is it?
The sort of saves that make no sense in real time, the sort of reflex stops that only a handful of keepers on this planet can make, the sort of moments where you think the ball's already in, and then somehow, someway, Raya gets there. And this is exactly why he deserves his flowers now. For 2 straight seasons, he has already established himself as one of the Premier League's elite, winning the Golden Glove in back-to-back campaigns, and now he's pushing to do it again. But at this point, that's not enough to explain his level anymore, because this talent is no longer just shutting down English football, now he's doing it in Europe. And the Champions League numbers make that crystal clear. Across his European run this season, Raya has faced 30 shots on target and saved 27 of them, putting him around a 90% save rate. And that is outrageous production for a goalkeeper playing in a team that often lives on the edge. Even more ridiculous? Across the last 2 Champions League campaigns, he has prevented more goals than any other goalkeeper. He is the keeper that Arsenal trust when everything breaks down. He is the keeper that gives this team the courage to play the way they play. He is the keeper that allows Arteta's Arsenal to walk the tightrope without falling off it. Because when Arsenal lose control for 5 seconds, when the line gets broken, when the press gets beaten, when Europe's best forwards think they finally have their moment, David Raya is there. And that, my friend, is exactly what Europe was afraid of. But to really understand why David Raya is the best goalkeeper in the world right now, you have to go back to where it all started, because his story is not the typical Spanish pathway. He wasn't raised in the comfort of FC Barcelona or Real Madrid academies. No hype, no protection. This is a proper Graft story. Back in 2012, at just 16 years old, he made a mad decision. He left Barcelona, left UE Cornella, and moved to England to join Blackburn Rovers, going from sunshine to cold, rainy Lancashire. And that wasn't just a change of place, it was a change of mindset. This was a proper English education. Tough, physical, unforgiving. He signed his first professional contract in 2014, but the real test came that same year when he was sent on loan to Southport FC in the 5th tier. And trust me, that's not football, that's survival. 24 matches in a league where every ball is launched, every duel is a fight, and every mistake gets punished instantly. But that's where Raya built something different, while others struggled with the chaos. He started mastering the air, reading crosses, timing his jumps, dominating situations that usually destroy young keepers. And that's why today he racks up elite numbers in aerial claims, because this didn't come from training drills, this came from war. He then returned to Blackburn Rovers and made his debut in 2015 with a clean sheet against Leeds United. And from there, he quietly built his name across 108 appearances. No noise, no headlines, just steady growth, step by step, until 2019, when Brentford FC signed him for just €3.35 million. In 2019, Brentford FC made what looked like a smart little data-driven signing, bringing in David Raya for around £3 million, and at the time it felt like one of those clever Brentford moves that only really makes sense a year later. But Raya's story there was not smooth at all, because his biggest breaking point came in the 2020 Championship playoff final against Fulham FC. And if you know that match, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That Joe Bryan free kick, that moment, that mistake, that horrible bit of positioning, one action that cost Brentford promotion and cost the club millions. And for a lot of goalkeepers, that would have been the moment everything collapsed. That would have been the scar they never recover from, the kind of mistake that follows you forever. But with Raya, it did the opposite, because instead of breaking him, it sharpened him. It forced a psychological evolution. It made him tougher, colder, more complete. And what happened next tells you everything about his mentality, because he came back the following season and became one of the main pillars behind Brentford. Finally going up in 2021, no hiding, no fear, no excuses, just proper response. And by the time his Brentford chapter ended, he had made 161 appearances and turned himself into one of the clearest prototypes of the modern sweeper keeper under Thomas Frank. A goalkeeper who wasn't just there to stop shots, but to start attacks, control space, and distribute the ball like a midfielder. And then came his real explosion. Because before Arsenal ever touched him, Raya had already produced one of the most underrated goalkeeper seasons in recent Premier League history in 2022-2023, where he completely dominated the numbers, making 154 saves with a 77% save rate. An outrageous combination that basically announced to the league that this was not just a good keeper in a good system, this was a serious elite-level goalkeeper ready for the top. And then in the summer of 2023 came the chaos, because Mikel Arteta lit a firestorm by forcing Arsenal to sign Raya on an initial £3 million loan with a £27 million option to buy. And this was not a quiet move. This was controversial from day one, because he wasn't arriving to be a backup. He was arriving to challenge and eventually replace Aaron Ramsdale, who at the time was basically the emotional favourite of the Arsenal fan base. The keeper everyone loved, the guy people thought should be untouchable. So naturally the criticism came flying in. People said Arteta was overthinking. People said he was creating unnecessary instability. People said he was messing with a position that didn't need touching. But then football did what football always does. The pitch told the truth. Raya made his debut on the 17th of September against Everton FC in a 1-0 win, and from that point on, scoring against Arsenal started to feel like a proper mission. David Raya's first season at Arsenal, the 2023-2024 campaign, was absolutely massive, because he went from being a signing under suspicion to becoming one of the main pillars of Mikel Arteta's entire defensive structure. And that transformation didn't happen through PR, it happened through performances, because even though he didn't start the season as number one and only fully took the spot from Aaron Ramsdale in September, once he got in, he never really looked back, and the numbers were proper serious. Across all competitions, he played 41 matches, 32 in the Premier League and 9 in the Champions League. He conceded just 24 goals in the league, which works out at around 0.75 per match, and only 7 in Europe, while also making 50 saves in the league, with a save rate hovering near 70%. And those are strong figures on paper, but what really made the football world start paying attention were the big match performances, the ones where you could actually feel why Arteta had pushed so hard to bring him in. Take the 5-0 against Crystal Palace, for example, because that match was pure David Raya in one package. Not just the clean sheet, not just the 5 saves, but the distribution as well, the exact thing Arteta wanted. He launched a brutal counter-attack with a perfect throw that ended in a goal for Leandro Trossard. And that's when people started clocking that this keeper doesn't just stop chances, he creates them too. Then there was the 3-2 away win against Tottenham Hotspur in the North London derby, one of those nasty pressure cooker matches where every touch matters. And yes, he made a mistake with a clearance that led to a goal, but what matters is what happened after, because instead of folding, he responded like a top keeper, producing huge saves late on to keep Arsenal alive and secure 3 massive points in the title race. Then there was the 0-0 away at Manchester City, and let's be honest, keeping a clean sheet at the Etihad is one of the hardest jobs in football. But Raya was class that day, calm, perfectly positioned, commanding every dangerous cross and giving absolutely nothing away. But if we're being real, the match that truly defined his first Arsenal season came in the Champions League against FC Porto, round of 16, second leg, because that was his proper I've arrived night. After the tie ended level, Raya became the hero in the penalty shootout by saving 2 penalties, one from Wendell and one from Galeno, sending Arsenal into the quarter-finals for the first time in 14 years. And in that moment, there was no more debate, no more noise, no more why did Arteta replace Ramsdale.
It's an amazing goalkeeper, and yeah, it's a great story as well, and how it happened, because as well we tried to sign David much earlier. I think it was as soon as I arrived, almost, and he had to wait for another 2 years, and the start that he had and the journey that we had together, I think it's been phenomenal for us, and very happy to have him.
Because the answer was standing right there in goal, and by the end of that season, all of it had already been rewarded. Raya finished as the best goalkeeper in the league when it came to keeping the ball out of the net, with 16 clean sheets in just 32 Premier League matches, enough to win the 2023-24 Golden Glove, and become the first Arsenal keeper to do it since Peter Cech. And from that point on, he wasn't just accepted anymore, he was trusted. David Raya's 2024-25 season with Arsenal was the one that fully confirmed him as one of the best goalkeepers in the world. He backed up his first brilliant year by doing it all over again, this time with even more pressure, more saves, and more huge moments. In the Premier League, he kept 13 clean sheets in 38 matches and only conceded 34 goals, helping Arsenal remain one of the toughest teams to score against in the entire league. But what really made last season special was the type of saves he started producing. Raya became a proper highlight keeper, the sort of goalkeeper who gives you one ridiculous stop every few weeks. He made 86 saves in the Premier League, a massive jump from the year before, and many of them were "that's a goal" moments, only for him to somehow keep it out. The best example came against Aston Villa in what many called the save of the season. With the score at 0-0, Ollie Watkins got a point-blank chance after a rebound off the bar, and somehow Raya, from the floor, pulled off a miracle save. It was outrageous. Then in the Champions League against Atalanta, he gave Arsenal a huge point by saving a Matteo Retegui penalty and then instantly getting up to stop the rebound header on the line. That was not just a save, that was elite mentality. Against Manchester City in the 2-2 draw at the Etihad, Arsenal had to suffer for most of the second half with 10 men, and Raya turned into a wall, making 9 saves and keeping Arsenal alive under brutal pressure. In the North London derby away at Tottenham, with Arsenal missing key names like Rice and Ødegaard, he was again massive. He controlled his area, dealt with crosses and made key saves early on to stop Spurs from taking over. And against PSG in the Champions League, he showed another side of his game. Not just saves, but composure. His passing and calmness under pressure from Luis Enrique's side was top class. By the end of that season, it was obvious. David Raya was no longer just a very good Premier League keeper. He had become a world-class one. David Raya has not only maintained his level, he has fully cemented himself as the most efficient goalkeeper of modern Arsenal. Once again, he leads the clean sheet charts in the Premier League and is the clear favourite to win the award again. He already has 15 clean sheets in 31 league matches, while his closest challenger, Donnarumma, sits on 11. He has only conceded 22 goals, averaging just 0.70 goals per match, and has kept a clean sheet in almost 50% of his league appearances this season. But if that is already ridiculous, his Champions League numbers are even scarier. In 10 European matches, Raya has kept 7 clean sheets, the most in the competition, and has conceded just 3 goals in 900 minutes. On top of that, he's made 27 saves, making him both one of the busiest and most effective keepers in the tournament. This season, he also wrote his name into Arsenal history, becoming the fastest goalkeeper ever to reach 50 clean sheets for the club, doing it in just 110 starts and beating a record held by Jimmy Ashcroft since 1903, who needed 114 matches. And here's the mad part. In the 41 matches where Raya has started, Arsenal have lost only 3 games. In fact, because of Arteta's baffling decisions to use keeper in certain moments, Raya was not even on the pitch for 2 of Arsenal's biggest failures of the season, the defeat in the final against City and the FA Cup elimination, where sadly Kepa did play a part. Raya's performances this season have been elite from start to finish. On matchday 1, he silenced Old Trafford with a flawless display. His command of crosses and calmness in build-up were key in protecting the lead after Calafiori's goal, and nobody said it better than Kai Havertz.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Things still underestimated in the world of football, but for me, the last 2 seasons, the best keeper in the world. He's outstanding, he saved us so many times, and we're very glad to have him.
From there, the massive saves just kept coming. The huge stop against Minte, with Arsenal leading 2-1, to secure all 3 points against Brighton. The derby save against Tottenham.
Spence gets around Hincapié!
The double madness against Aston Villa. First after Watkins hit the post, then the cat-like reaction to deny McGinn. The inhuman stretch to push the ball onto the post against Nottingham Forest. The almost own goal he somehow clawed out with one hand against Chelsea. It does not matter if the shot is low, like that Brighton effort, or high, like Shade's header. Raya always gets there, and in these last few weeks, his level has somehow gone even higher. The delayed high-difficulty save from Garnacho's cross shot, the reflex stops against Leverkusen from point-blank range, and then, maybe the best save I've ever seen in my life, the Araujo shot. So tell me this, what goalkeeper right now has these reflexes? What goalkeeper dominates his area better? Who is a better pure shot stopper? There is nobody doing what David Raya is doing right now. Nobody influences the goal more. Nobody gives his team more security. Today, David Raya is the best goalkeeper in the world.